I didn't originally start out on the team.
Mm-hmm.
I was just playing, and he was doing lunch duty. And he was just doing duty, sitting by the door. He was like, hey, you want to play basketball? Why don't you stay after? And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, so I called my mom, like, hey, Mom, I need you to bring my stuff up here. Coach told me he wanted me to stay after practice. And so that just kind of started it for me. Because, you know, Coach Marshall, he was... He was different. He was he was brutally honest.
Brutally. Like, well, you can't hit the side of a barn. What's up, everybody? This is Coach Love with Recruit Oklahoma, also known as ROK. I got a special guest with me today. He's not only an OSU Cowboy, he's also a John Marshall Bear. He's one of the most decorated high school basketball players in Oklahoma. He's won Big City All-Player of the Year before, an Oklahoman All-Stater, Oklahoma Super 5. He played in the Oklahoma Faith 7 game. Won a state championship under Tommy Griffin, Oklahoma Basketball Coaches Association Player of the Year, his senior year. When he got to Old State, he was an all Big 12 selection his junior and senior year. He also earned All-American honors as an honorable mention during his senior season, helping the OSU Cowboys get to the Elite Eight. At the time, Joe Adkins is one of 4 players in OSU history to record 1,000 points and 400 assists in a career. He had some stints playing overseas. My dog, my friend, my classmate, Bear alumni, Cowboy alumni. We in this thing. I got Joe Adkins. What's up, Joe?
What's up, man?
You doing all right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, I think I got everything on here. Probably missed a few things, but you did your thing. You did your thing. Man, so let's go back to, real quick before we get into it. Let's go back to this, I'm still a little salty about my 1995, my runner-up, your junior year, right? Yeah. We lost to Bishop Kelly, man. That just still bothers me a little bit when we talk about championships and stuff like that. You know, what was your thought on that game, man? I know they kind of got us going early, man.
I mean, that's probably the most disappointing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely the most disappointing thing that happened probably in my entire basketball career, period. Yeah. Was that that game was really it was crazy. It was different. Mm-hmm. It was different in how it happened. Yeah. I don't want to sit here and say they might cheat. You know, whatever may have happened.
We couldn't play like we wanted to play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We definitely didn't play our style. Yeah. We were prohibited in playing our style of play in that game. So that was a tough one, mm-hmm. but that was probably the biggest motivating factor for me. Yep. And probably not only me, but as well as some of our teammates. Yeah. But that for me was like the battery that was in my back. Like I knew I was never wanted to feel that again. Mm-hmm. Like that one, I remember, man, we lost again. I cried for 3 days. Man, I cried. I mean, I cried till Monday. Yeah. I mean, I was sick. But you know, it was just from my family, being in my family. You know, we were a huge basketball family. My sisters, they were state champions, so. Yeah. It was just I wanted to be there so bad, and to get there in that fashion and lose kind of how we lost, it was just like, man, whatever in my power, I wasn't gonna. I refused to let this happen again. Yeah, and as you see, the next year,
you didn't lose the game.
The next year, you know, I mean, with not only myself but a couple other guys, multiple guys. But of course, Reggie and Tony leading the way along with myself. Yeah, it was. We definitely knew and turned that into. We did that. Yeah. But you know, the whole time we weren't really worried about being undefeated. Mm-hmm. It just kind of happened. Yeah. It just kind of happened. Now, when football did it, it kind of like, oh, okay, you can do that. But you know, we play so many games. Right. And you know, our junior year, we didn't even have that many close games. Like we had some, but not really not many. Yeah. I mean, we only lost 2 games. Yeah, we lost 2. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But even close games, a lot of times we was just smacking it, you know. So it wasn't like but our sophomore year, we were good, but we had some close games. We did have some battles and encounters with some people. But our senior year, it was just like a mission. You know what I'm saying? It was, and then once they went undefeated, it was kind of like, oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was just kind of some motivation, just because you know how our school was.
Okay.
It was a competitive environment.
Oh,
period.
definitely.
Football, hey, whatever y'all doing, we got to be doing.
We got to do it.
You know what I'm saying? They number one. Oh, we got to get to number one.
Yeah.
So when they pulled that off, it kind of, that was an extra motivating factor for us. Although that wasn't the main goal, it just kind of happened.
It just happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, we've had some dogs, man. Coming out of John Marshall, man. Just like almost every year there's somebody getting an opportunity to play at the next level.
No doubt.
So it was just a hotbed of athletes and teammates that wanted the best for each other, you know.
Yeah,
so,
we had of course, we started at you guys were sophomores my freshman year. I mean, that's where it all started.
Yeah.
And we kind of just grew up together.
Right.
You know, that first year was rocky, boy. We took a lot of L's.
Yeah.
We took a few of them, but a lot of close games.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't like a demoralizing season. It was just like we didn't know how to win.
No.
None of us. You guys didn't have any experience because it was y'all first time playing varsity.
Yeah.
I didn't have any.
Yeah.
Our seniors, they ended up quitting, so we didn't have anybody.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so it was just like we were all just trying to finding our way.
Right.
And you know, the fun we had so much fun, and I used to tell people, especially after that sophomore season, my sophomore season, your junior, your senior year, like our best games was practice. Like we weren't even having good games. We would line it up with each other to actually get some action. But I think that kind of made us better.
Right.
I know it made us better. It was that was probably the best, especially playing against you, Willie Shot, because you guys were so much stronger, like because you were football, so it made us tougher. And that, I think that was a huge contribution to my success, just because I was able to get against somebody that not only was good, but athleticism. Yeah. Even though you're a football player, you could play basketball, but you could beat up on me. So like most guys on that level don't have that opportunity because they're just the best and they shine above everybody. So you create so many bad habits. Fortunately for me, I didn't do that because there was so many guys around me that could play. Yeah. And we were coached well. So that was just kind of how it was.
Speaking of coaches real quick, you know, we got you played for two of the greatest coaches that ever coached basketball, period, you know, and Tommy Griffin and Eddie Sutton. We'll talk about Coach Griffin and both of them in a minute, but before we get to that part, let's kind of jump back into your, you know, you was in the Village, right? I mean, so I don't even know if you knew this, but I lived right around the corner from you. What's the name of that street? I forgot.
Florida, man.
Huh?
Florida.
Well, no, not Florida. It was right before I moved to Florida. It was on Hazley Street. Dang, it was right around the corner. It was on that side of the block. But Florida was the block that we all took pictures and stuff on. But we lived right around the corner, and you know Marcus Byers, and we all kind of grew up in the same area. And so, so tell me about. I know I used to kind of see you always shooting around in the driveway and all that stuff. You always had a ball in your hand. Man, I can't remember. Did you ever play any other sport? You did?
I did. I mean, for a long time, I was a baseball player.
Okay.
So I played baseball all the way up until I was in the 8th grade.
Okay.
And when I got to the 8th grade, I was playing and I messed up my grades. So my mother didn't let me play. She was like, okay, well, you can't play. You know, that's just how she was. You don't make your grades. She pulled me. She was like, nah, you just ain't playing. I don't care if you can. Nah, you're not playing.
Okay.
You know, I was eligible, but nah, you ain't playing.
Yeah.
You can't do that. And so in that time, I saw like 5 people get hit in the face with the ball.
He said no.
I was done.
He said I was done.
Nah, I'm over. It's over. And so when I quit, I told my mom's like, okay, so, you know, of course we going into school, into my high school. I'm like, well, I don't even want to play. I don't want to play one sport now. I want to play basketball. And she tried to talk me out of it. She was like, all right, well,
out of playing basketball?
Yeah, she was like, well, if you want to play one sport, you need to play baseball. I mean, I was good. I was really good at it. I mean, I don't know if I could have been but at that age, I was really good. Yeah. So people, you know, I used to travel a little bit. People would ask me to play on their team. So, you know, I was tall so I could play first base. I pitched, but I couldn't throw hard, but I could throw straight.
Right, yeah.
But I could hit. But like I say, when I started seeing them boys get hit in the face, people started throwing curves, and they was trying, they was starting to try to develop pitches.
Man, when I started seeing that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't know where the ball was going. So that's why we beginning, it was like, nah, I'm not doing that no more. So it was like, and as we know, baseball is just a sport nobody goes to. Mm-hmm. It's not a lot of people that watch it. Yeah. So that was one of the things I was just like, nah, I think I just want to play basketball. And she supported it, but for a while, she tried to talk me out of it. Was just like, well, just go play both. Mm-hmm. If you want to do it, just play both. But I was just like, nah, I want to focus in and lock in on hoops.
Okay. Yeah. So, and you were the only child, right?
No, I'm the baby.
You the baby. No, that's right. You have a sister.
I have two sisters, but they were 15 years older than me.
Okay.
So one was 15 years older than me. The other one is 13, and then I have a brother. Nobody really knows my brother because, I mean, since I was young, he went to the penitentiary when I was super young. So I was probably 4 or 5, so nobody ever seen him. And so nobody really knows that I had a brother.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean.
That explains it.
I mean,
because I always thought you was a single child.
No.
Because, like you said, I remember your sisters playing basketball too, but they were so much older that it was just like, okay, it's just Joe. So that's what I remember growing up. But then you mentioned, they was basketball players. I remember you talking about them before. So did they mold you, or did they have a big influence in your life as far as like sports? Like
huge. Yeah. Because they actually taught me how to play. My sisters, my oldest sister, Vicky, she's probably, even, when it's all said and done, I always say she was the best one out of my family, even considering my nephew who made the NBA, whatever, like, nah, she was the light. She was the best one. And my other sister, Barbara, she wasn't as good. She was probably the best athlete in our family.
Okay.
Like, she went to John Marshall. They ran track for Coach Ellis.
Okay.
My sister, she, both of them ran track. One of them won the 100. One stayed in the 100, the hurdles. So they were great athletes.
Okay.
So it was always in me, the competitive nature. But when they went to Kansas, they both decided to go to Kansas. Of course, that's when, I started to come of age. I was like 5, and I started to understand, okay, the basketball, this is what I want to do and playing. And they basically, for the first 5 to 8, 10 years of my life, they would just, hey, this is what you got to do. This is what you do. This is how you got to work. So they had a huge impact, along with my mother, of course, and my sister married my brother-in-law who made it to the NBA. So it was a true support system. It helped that my sisters were so much older because I was able to have support like that where my mother could. She wasn't able to do everything by herself. Right. My sisters, they were adults now, so they were able to chip in. And so, they weren't going to let me fail. If I wanted to do that, this is what you're going to do. As long as you did these things, I had everyone's complete support.
So you mentioned they went to Kansas. They both played, they had scholarships to play Kansas. How'd they do there? They just.
One of my sisters, my older sister that I say is the best. I mean, she's, I think now she's still 5th all-time leading scorer there.
Okay.
When she left, I think she was 2. And now it's only been a couple other people past her. So
Gotcha.
We lost her in 21. I think when the guy called us from there, and I think she has like archives in the book of all-time records. She had like 70 something. So she was just naturally. I mean, she was just one of them ones. You know what I'm saying? As they would say now.
Yeah. Would you say your older sister? Well, as you said, you had a pretty well-rounded support system. Everybody chipped in where it was needed, picked you up, took you places, all that stuff.
She was my oldest is the one that put the mentality in me, like, yo,
that dog,
whatever you see, you gotta destroy, like that, because that was her. That's how she played. It was just like, hey, no matter what they do, hey, nobody can stop you. This is what you do. Attack, and so she just put it in me early, and I just kind of took it and rolled with it.
Did you ever recall a time in a game where, growing up, before high school, like middle school, junior high, or whatever, where you wanted to quit, or where it got so hard for you where you got frustrated and wanted to quit?
Nah, I can't say that. Not with basketball. One, my mom wouldn't have ever let me do that.
Okay.
And it just, in the youngest, I always thought I was good. I always felt I was good enough. I could beat all odds or whatever. It never was written, and I loved it. Like basketball, I mean, that was the one thing that's always been the thing that I always wanted to do. Like, that's never, since I was 5, I knew, man, I want to be a basketball player.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I never really, of course, there was definitely obstacles for me, but it was never a time where I was like, I'm done with it.
Before we get into high school, so I know you remember playing for Coach Marshall. Tell me what it was like with who was on your squad then, if you can remember.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was the same guys.
Same groups, yeah.
It was the same guys. Yeah. But when I was, I played in the 7th grade. So it was different because nobody really was ever doing that. So I kind of had some success early where I got to play as a 7th grader.
Yeah.
So getting to play as a 7th grader, that was kind of a thing that was different. It wasn't a lot of guys at my age, a lot of guys getting to do that.
Right. No.
And for him, it was funny because I didn't originally start out on the team. I was just playing, and he was doing lunch duty. And we were in the gym playing, and he was just like, "Hey, you want to play?"
Him and Mr. Guy?
Yeah, they were sitting there. But Mr. Guy was doing but we were in the gym. And Coach Marshall was watching the gym.
Oh, y'all was in there just playing?
Yeah, we was just playing over lunch.
Okay.
We wasn't. It was. I don't even know who I was playing.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like we was just playing lunch. Yeah. And he was just doing duty, sitting by the door. He was like, "Hey, you want to play basketball?" And I was like, he was like, "Well, why don't you stay after?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." Yeah. So I called my mom, like, "Hey, Mom, I need you to bring my stuff up here. Coach told me he want me to stay after practice." And so that just kind of started it for me. So that was the first time I was like, "Oh yeah,
Coach
I
Marshall.
do something not too many getting to do." Because Coach Marshall, he was different. He was he was brutally honest.
Like, well, you can't hit the side of a bar.
He was definitely different. So it was the first time. He was probably the first coach that I had been around that was just like, man. But that's the reason why you don't win 20 straight all-city championships unless you're like that. But that also goes to show what kind of athletes that we grew up around in our neighborhoods that didn't even go to John Marshall. And I tell people, like, John Marshall would have never lost if everybody would have just went to John Marshall. Yeah. They just always scattered everywhere because they knew. I mean, it was so many people. You say, like we were talking earlier, that would walk in the halls, just great athletes all over the place. Whether they started gang banging or whatever. Man, it was everything. But it was, that environment was definitely.
I remember, man, like it's yesterday, dog. He's one of them brutally honest coaches, man, and he told it like it was, man. And I mean, I wasn't one of the best ones, but but we always had dudes around that you can make you better. And I mean, that you growing up and playing with us, and it was fun. It was fun. So getting into high school, so coming in as a freshman, and I'd heard we had a pretty our freshman team went undefeated. Like we didn't lose many games. And then going into our sophomore year, we started, like you mentioned, you come in as a freshman, and then we're competing for varsity spots as sophomores and stuff like that. And you as a freshman. So what was it like from coming from Coach Marshall, coming to Coach Griffin, as far as playing up at the next level?
I think you would agree. They were two totally types of, for two people to have so much success. I mean, they did it completely different with each other. Whereas Coach Marshall, of course, we probably played a lot more as freely. When Coach, once we got to Coach Griffin, it was much more, we worked on our fundamentals first. We did play at a fast pace, but it was definitely an organized type of play. And so it was different in that fact, but I think Eisenhower, it taught you how to win, for one thing. And then once we got to John Marshall, of course, maybe didn't have the success that we had in middle school, but we were always coached the right way. In John Marshall, they had already had success, so it wasn't like we were creating or setting the foundation because they were winning before all of us were there. But they just hadn't. Coach Griffin, he had never gotten over the hump, or it had been so long at John Marshall before they had gotten over the hump. So I think it was just something that in that time, I think John Marshall, it probably was lucky that you had so many athletes and athletes that were really wanting to be something, or whether it was be a wide receiver. I wanted to go to college. They wanted to do all these things because, I mean, as we know, the neighborhoods we grew up in, so many people got swept the ride, whether they went left or right or whatever. You know, it was, I think Coach Griffin, he also did a good job of making sure keeping the main thing, and we had everything on our team. I mean, we had gangsters on our team.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like
we
was the nerds. And,
right.
Yeah,
no,
it was cracking on our team. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I mean, but it was like we was always cool. And we all grew up around each, so we knew each other. And it probably was just the right environment for us. You know what I'm saying? And what people thought or perceived John Marshall to be, because our school was wild.
Yeah.
You know, it was definitely them
It
hallways.
was popping.
It could get lethal in there, you know. So
yeah,
it was definitely a different environment, but I think also that just made us tougher too.
So during some of the games, well, can you tell me? I mean, you've had a bunch of good games there, but is there one game that stood out to you from all of them where you just said, I went off, I dominated this game, could nobody stop me?
I don't know if it was just one where I said nobody can stop me, but
that's probably every game.
I thought that anyway. Maybe I could be, but I didn't believe that.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was probably the battery in my bag where I said, all right, I'm ready now. And you probably, I don't know if you remember this or not. We were in the previews.
Okay.
And, you know, we played the first day. I think we were playing Tuesdays and Thursdays because it wasn't on the weekends, Thursday and Friday anymore, because football, people started making the playoffs. So we played like that Tuesday. We lost or whatever. We come back Thursday. You remember all of you all showed up late. Y'all came late.
to the game?
We were leaving at like 5:30.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe everybody walked in at 5:31.
Okay.
Like you, Willie. It was about five of you that didn't get to play.
Okay.
And at that time, I wasn't starting. I think in that preview game, the first game, I played a lot. I might have been the sixth man or seventh man. I don't remember which one I was, but I came off the bench.
Yeah.
And then that next day, y'all came in late. So he said y'all wasn't playing. Of course, we were so young, you got a discipline like that.
Yeah.
You know, maybe if we were juniors, he wouldn't have did that.
Yeah.
But he had to let it know, like, nah, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
And that day, I went off in the previews. And I had like 19 and a half, and I was like, oh, man.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
That's a good game. That's a good place to do it in the previews.
Yeah, I can do this. So that was the confidence that I needed to work. Because I didn't know, like, I knew I was good enough to be out there.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, I hadn't done anything as far as that yet to know I'm good enough to do this.
Yeah.
So when I did that, that was the thing that I said, oh yeah, I'm straight now. I'm gonna be able to do this.
Yeah, I think we probably saw that. Yeah, he's gonna be good. He's gonna be all right. Yeah, that boy can play. What's one of your most embarrassing moments? You ever remember anything like that?
Anytime, I probably had a couple, but it was always like, and it was that same weekend, that same
was it? Okay.
In the previews. That same game I played well. I missed the free throw for us to win.
Oh, okay.
And I did that a couple times in my high school career. Only a couple times I did it, but I never forgot those moments, bro. Those. And for some, they probably didn't matter, but for me, it was gut-wrenching for me. Like, I never wanted to lose and feel like it was my fault. And even though I had that great game, I was like, man, I lost the game for us. So it just destroyed me. So, man, I worked so hard because I hated those feelings. You know what I'm saying? And that was really my motivation. Just, I don't want to feel like this.
Been there, man.
You drop one every now and again. You know, it just happens.
Yeah.
But that's a part of it. And that's a part of the process growing up and facing that adversity. Because it does make you stronger. You're going to either wilt or you're going to
grow from it.
You're going to man up and grow up.
I already know the answer to this. Let's let the people know. Were you a trash talker?
The best. The best. The best.
Your class A1.
Oh, no doubt.
The best, man.
You know, it's funny because people still like, because you know me, like the person I am on a basketball court and the person I am off is two completely different people.
Yeah.
I'm liable to say anything to you while we out there. Yeah, I'm letting you know whatever it is.
Right.
And so it's people like for a long time, they were still mad at me. I'm like, I don't even know what I said
right.
to you, bro. I was just talking. But like, I don't know. Like, you know.
Yeah.
So it's funny, like, because people still feel a certain type of way about me because of some. I'm like, dog, you still thinking about
Yeah.
That's crazy because I don't even know what I said. So
right. Yeah.
Whatever I said, I hate I touched you like that, but I had to be having my way.
Yeah, man. I already knew the answer to that, man. And we still to this day. I sit back on Facebook and I see you going with them Sooners.
Oh, man.
I sit back and start eating my popcorn.
It's just easy work, man. It's natural.
Just reading the comments.
Man, it's just natural, man.
Man, that's one of the things I loved about you. At least when you talking, you back it up, though. I mean, that's what it's like, man. Like, little Joe, he can go, man. I don't know. Who was our biggest rival back in high school, man? I can't. I know we had some good games with Guthrie.
Yeah, we had some with Guthrie.
Douglas.
Douglas
Millwood.
a couple times. Millwood after our first year. Like, after that, once your junior year, I mean, we didn't have a lot of close games through the city.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I think maybe we had one with Douglas. Yeah. Star Spencer was always a good one.
Oh, yeah.
They always played. Those were always.
Northwest Classing.
Northwest Classing. But, once Dave and them left, we kind of started to. But that first couple of years, Northwest Classing was definitely.
They was the dudes, yeah.
Yeah, they were. So we had a couple rivals in the city. So it was Northwest, Douglas a couple times. Star was always one. But Capitol Hill even, we had some good battles with them a couple times.
Coach too.
But it wasn't like Oklahoma City, not to take a shot now, because just the kids aren't in Oklahoma City public schools anymore. So, but no one was sorry. Like,
no.
There was no team. I think when I was older, maybe Southeast had just reopened. So, of course, they didn't have anything yet. And they ended up becoming a dynasty where they won 3 in a row later on. But, it just wasn't – everybody had somebody. So, although we were having success, it wasn't like we were just having our way because it was teams, 4 or 5 teams from the city conference that was making the state tournament. So, it was always heavy competition. I thought – and it was said then that it was the best conference in the state.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. When did you start playing with Jack and the Rams? Did you play with the Rams,
14, 15. So that would have been my 8th grade, 8th and 9th grade.
Okay.
8th and 9th grade year.
And tell me about those times, man. Who were your teammates on their squads?
Actually, Estelle was my teammate.
Okay.
Reggie Tate was with me. Reggie was on my team. Tony was on my team.
Did Masters play with you, Rodney?
Rodney's a year. He played for the older group. So he was 1 year older than me.
Okay.
So he would always play a year up.
Gotcha.
So he was a year ahead of me. Shane Scott, we had Big Woody, ended up being
Big Woody. Yeah. We was talking about him the other day, how athletic that boy was. I think Donald, Donald Morgan?
Yeah.
He was talking about him.
I mean, nobody remember. Woody was that size when he was like 11. Like, Woody was 6'1".
He was an ox at 10 years old.
Man, he was 11 years old. Man, they brought Woody out. Ben Hart brought Woody out. I don't know. Woody was from Dover, Oklahoma.
Okay.
Right close to Enid.
Yeah.
And he was from Enid, but he moved to a small town.
Crescent, maybe?
He had to play he was from Dover, but he actually played football for Hennessy, I believe. Okay. Dover didn't even have a football team.
Okay.
So he had to play for Hennessy.
Okay.
And Woody, even at 11, Woody was like 6'1", 210 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, I had never seen a person that looked like that. Yeah. I mean, seriously. Like, when he came, it was like, it's no way this dude is 11 years old.
Check his birth certificate.
I mean, anywhere we went or whatever, it was always that because he was huge. But the funny thing, he never grew. And the crazy thing, Woody was the fastest dude out there.
Yeah. He was an athlete. Yeah.
Yeah, at 6'1", 210, he was super fast. He was a running back in high school.
Yeah.
He was a running
Yeah.
So
I saw some of that at O State.
Yeah, so that was something. And I don't know how they got him to play D-line because Woody never wanted to do anything with being a running back.
Okay.
Like, he wanted to be running back.
Yeah.
He was like, man, if I go to running, I ain't doing running back. And, they convinced him somehow to get on the D-line. But I know that's one thing. If Woody went and all said and done, he said, I would have probably transferred. Now, if you could do what you can do now, he'd have been out of there. I guarantee you.
He'd have been gone. Yeah, I remember hearing about the Rams and talking about, because I know Willie played with him, the Jack and all them,
but Willie was a year ahead of me also, so he was the next group.
Yeah, I never got to play travel ball, and I guess I found out about it late. But
not everybody, because it was known, but it wasn't.
Right.
Like, everybody didn't do it then. Like now, now everybody's on a travel team.
Yeah,
but a lot of people's parents didn't know, and or you gonna send your mom wasn't letting you go ride with some coach for 3 days. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not like that. You know what I'm saying? It was just a different time because it was just coming into its own. And then now, you see it now.
Yeah.
Well, it's a team everywhere, going all across the country.
Everywhere.
Kids who aren't as good still get to travel.
Yeah.
You know, it was at that time it was like a prestigious thing that
it
you
was,
played on these teams and did that. Whereas now, which has helped basketball, that everybody actually does it. And I think it's helped Oklahoma because it just makes the kids better because you do play against better competition when you're playing against people all over the country.
Give me 5 dudes that, like, still in high school, 5 dudes that you just remember that we played against, like, that just showed out.
That we played,
yeah.
Okay. Stell, of course. Curtis Haywood.
Yeah.
Malcolm Johnson.
Yeah.
Lawton. Man, I be doing this. I don't want to knock somebody because I just forgot.
Just
those 3 for sure. Derek Moore was pretty good. Derek Moore was.
Wasn't it R. Moore?
R. Moore.
Yeah. Okay. Remember Aaron Howe?
Oh yeah, AJ. AJ was definitely the best athlete we seen for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna say this just because they beat us our junior year. Remember G.G. Smith? He gave us work.
He worked us. Yeah.
Yeah, he gave us work. So I mean,
where did he end up going to play? Tulsa? Was it
Tulsa? Because his dad,
yeah,
his dad was at Tulsa at that time, and so he was there. And then I think he had left and went to Georgia, and I think he went with him to Georgia. But it was some more that we didn't play. So don't be looking at this and be like, I didn't say your name, bro. It wasn't that. I just didn't play you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, man. We talked about a little bit about Coach Griffin, and of course his counterpart, Coach Daniels. Give me some moments of some phrases or what? We gotta keep it G-rated.
Unless we can censor this, you don't want to hear none of that. I mean, Coach Daniels, you just had to love him.
Yeah,
because it was just, what you got to take him for what he is.
Yeah,
what you see is what you get.
Yeah,
always was gonna tell you the truth. Use some words that probably, motivating, could be motivating to some, demoralizing to others.
Right.
It just depends on who you were, where you from.
Depending on where you came up, how you grew up. Yeah,
no doubt. Yeah. But he was just a guy that pushed you. And I think that was the one thing is that they just never, even when we got really good, it was just, they were always pushing you to get better.
Yeah.
We were never satisfied with whatever we was. That's how it was.
Yeah.
It didn't matter where you were, who it was. It was no holds barred for whoever. I mean, anybody can get it.
Yeah,
you would not. There was nobody.
No discrimination.
Yeah, no discrimination in who could get that from Coach D.
Yeah,
you was out of line, boy. He was gonna let you know right then, right now.
Right now. Yeah, yeah. Coach D was he was the dude, man. He was a good balance between, organized and structured Coach Griffin, and then kind of on the side we got you ain't doing this right, mother effing.
Yeah, you have coach who was talking real hey, you gotta be, and then you have. Hey, boy, you don't get your. What you gonna, so
no doubt.
It was definitely a good balance up, and they balanced each other out well.
Absolutely,
you know what I'm saying? You didn't see one without the other. That was for sure.
Right. So take me to your championship season. Y'all rolled through everybody. Not too many close games at all. The state games. Who did y'all play first?
Douglas.
I
believe we played Douglas.
Okay.
That was our 3rd or 4th time playing them that season.
Okay.
So I remember we won that one, and then in the semis we played Tulsa Central, which in that game I wouldn't say maybe the greatest, but probably I haven't seen many games where this happened where we were down 10 points with 2 minutes to go.
Oh, okay.
And we came back to send it. We sent it into overtime, and then we won.
Man,
we won that game.
I don't know how I missed that. I must have been in football or something. I don't know where I was, but
I don't know.
Because that was your senior year, my freshman year in college. So
yes,
I don't know.
So it would have been March. So maybe you didn't come that day thinking we were just gonna win and wasn't coming to the championship or something. Because Stillwater wasn't that far.
Yeah,
it was right there in the middle.
Yeah,
but I mean Reggie. I remember Reggie hit a couple threes, and then I hit a couple shots, and then I hit 2 free throws with like point something to send it into overtime, and then we pulled away. in overtime. Yeah. But yeah, that was one where that was crazy.
Tulsa Central.
But it was one of those deals. Even when we were losing, I don't recall us even panicking when we were out there. Like I don't think we still thought we were gonna lose, even though
we're down.
That time was rolling, like it was moving fast too. But I mean, it was just the refusal to lose. But that was probably the best, one of the most exciting and best games I've ever been a part of. And it wasn't even me that really created it. It was Reggie who really hit the couple threes to put us back. Yeah. And then it was kind of, I helped him to get us back to finish it off. But
would you say that's probably the toughest game of the season?
No doubt. And probably the only other game that we had tough that I remember where it went down like that was against Northwest Classing. But our football, it was Friday and the state championship was on Saturday.
Okay.
So they were still in football, and we played Northwest Classing.
Okay.
And so I hit a last-second shot to win that game. And so that was that. Before that was so those were our only two games where we really went down to the wire.
Yeah. So after Tulsa Central, who'd you have?
We played McLean in the championship.
McLean, that's right.
We had played McLean.
Is that what Cherry? The Cherry? Was there a Durant? Or?
No, Cherry was Central. He's actually Central.
He was Central. Okay.
Yes, because we actually played Central, but I think we played Central both years.
Yeah, I remember playing.
We played McLean every year we went to state.
Yeah,
we played McLean. Yeah. And then we played Central. Maybe we played them in the Tournament of Champions one time.
That's what it was. Yeah,
we played them in the Tournament of Champions, and then I played them again when we were seniors in the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay. So McLean in the championship.
Cherry must be cold. Boy, he left something on your mind.
Man, yeah, I just remember that name. One of them Tulsa.
Yeah.
One of them Tulsa teams.
Though. He could hoop, though.
Yeah, he could hoop, man. You know, after the state championship game, y'all, of course, y'all go undefeated in football and basketball and stuff. And so, I'm sitting back kind of like, man, they're my boys, but why they have to wait till, why they do it that year? Why couldn't they do it last year, man? Why couldn't do it last year?
Me too. I thought the same thing.
Tell me what recruiting was like for you. Like, so, I mean, I would imagine we're only a year apart, so I'd imagine the recruiting was kind of the same as far as technology. We had to send tapes, and I don't know how coaches just talked. How did it go for you?
But football is always different because it's so many more guys.
Yeah.
So, you guys use film and you send them like. I never did that.
Okay.
And
I mean, our coaches did. Coach Boger.
I mean, of course, they would make your film. They send it out. Yeah, but
I never knew until
it was harder. But it was harder for any city kid. I mean, at that time, they weren't really coming to Oklahoma City to look for football players.
No,
even though now we had guys going to college, but it wasn't. I mean, I remember when you guys were. I mean, when they were coming in, like it was having Miami. It was everybody coming in there. You know what I'm saying? Like. So that was like, I guess until before Michael McDaniel would have been the only one. So it was years before that we had that. So in my recruiting, it was crazy really, man, because it was really just, it was so many schools and I just got it. It was kind of overwhelming because it was just over and over. It was just the same thing, you talk, coaches ask the same questions.
Yeah.
It was just like, man, what am I gonna do? Like, you say you want that, and then once you get
here,
they won't stop.
Yeah.
And so I can remember like that was schools, they would even call my girlfriend at the time. Like was like, I don't even know how you got the number. I mean, it was like, we would go out or something like. If I told a coach, oh, okay, I'm going to do this, he might be there. So it was just like, man, I can't say I did not like it. I didn't like it, but I'm appreciative of it that they felt that way about me, that they just wanted me to know, like, hey, I told you I'm gonna be here wherever you go. I'm gonna be here. Literally, that's what it was. And so it was just a grueling process for me because I always wanted to go out of state. So it was just where I wanted to go. And I love basketball. So I knew all about all the schools. I knew what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go. And when I got my girlfriend pregnant in high school, it changed my whole plan to where I was like, well, now I'm just going to stay here. Yeah. So I'm going to go to either OU or OSU.
Okay.
My original plan was not that.
Okay.
That was not my original plan.
Yeah.
And just because, I got my girl pregnant, it was like, all right, well, I'll stay here. It wasn't like it was a bad thing because I was thinking about them anyway. Yeah. But my original plan, I was going to go to UConn.
UConn, okay. No, I never knew that part of it. But I know you were highly recruited and didn't know that kind of changed your plans. I thought this was just, you just wanted to be a Cowboy, you know. But
but my people was up there too. Yeah. So it was cool. It definitely was. Yeah. And there was so many people from my school that ended up going there.
Right.
Like it was like JM
reunion up there.
JM North.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who your top? You said UConn. Who would have been your top 3 choices?
UConn, OU, OSU, and Arkansas.
Arkansas. Okay.
Those are my top 4. My last 4 that I was like, okay, it's gonna be
okay. Okay. What was the coach's name at Arkansas?
Nolan Richardson.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, but them Razorbacks was cold.
Yeah.
Bro.
Oh yeah.
So did you get to go? How many did you go on? A lot of visits, or you just went to OSU?
At that time, when you were at that time, what was that? 90. I graduated in 96, but my visits were 95. So at 95, you couldn't take official visits unless you passed the ACT. I hadn't passed the ACT.
Okay.
But what they did was they came up with a rule where I could take my they were going to let you go, but I had to wait till after the early signing period.
Okay.
And I was not going to go another 5 months of recruiting. So I was like, it's over. I mean, that's what really, and it was like, oh, no, it's definitely, I'm only doing this because I knew both schools like the back of my hand. I spent a lot of time in Norman and in Stillwater. So, of course, those were the 2 most comfortable and the 2 biggest. So that's what I wanted to do.
And Billy Tubbs was it?
It was Kelvin, actually, in 95. It was Kelvin's first year.
Okay. Okay.
So it was his first year. So that was a new regime coming in. So it was different because he was a lot younger. And he was way younger than Coach Sutton. So it was 2 different dynamics, although, they both, now you look back, man, Kelvin Sampson and where he is today.
You're right.
He's one of the best coaches in college basketball, probably maybe the best coach in basketball instead of Dan Hurley. But right then, he was still young. He had just left Washington State and came. And, man, they actually recruited me probably harder than anybody.
Really? Okay.
They worked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I can't knock it, but it just turned out, I just felt Oklahoma State was just the best place for me.
Going back to that point in time, if another athlete today comes up to you and hey, Joe or Coach Adkins, you're coaching now, so Coach Adkins, going through what you went through, how would you guide them?
I would tell them, go where you want it, and go where you're going to be on the floor. Go where you're going to play.
Yeah.
Immediately.
No matter what level.
No matter what level.
Yeah.
Even if it's not OU or OSU, if you can go and be on the floor right away at Tulsa, go to Tulsa.
Yeah.
Make sure you're out there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's boy, if you ain't playing, it's miserable.
Yeah.
So
I bet. Yeah.
We watch plenty of guys. The dudes that was backing you up.
Yeah.
Bro, it's a miserable time. You sitting over there, you doing all the watching because as you know, we all going there. Everybody has the same accolade.
Yeah. So exactly.
So it's tough to sit there and have to watch other people have success. Not that I'm not to say you don't grow from it or mature from it, but it's just a tough process to go through.
Yeah. So fast forward to the Faith 7 game, and I saw where y'all were down a little bit. And then you kind of did some heroics and brought them back to win and hit.
Tell them, bro. Tell them.
Oh, you tell me.
Man, I like that. It was a great game. Texas, they had a really good team. Rafer Young was on that team.
Yeah. Your teammate Desmond Mason.
Desmond was on that team. They had a dude by the name of Anthony Good. He was going to Texas. They had a couple that were going to North Texas. It was a good game. We were down going into the 4th, and You seen it a couple times. I mean, I ain't going. I mean,
man,
it can get popping sometime for me. I can get lucky. Get lucky. So it kind of happened where they'll say I took over the game, but I just, I just don't like losing.
Right. Exactly.
At the end of the day, I don't like losing. So, I brought us back, made some plays for us, got us back in it. We won it. I think, we won it in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we won it in overtime.
Did Estelle play with you?
Yes, Estelle was with me that day. Estelle was with me. Reggie Tate was with me.
Yeah.
We had Deion Luden from Dale City. Nick Allison.
Guthrie.
No. El Reno.
I'm thinking of Lamar Allison.
We had Jeff Thomas from went to Tulsa Rogers. Eton didn't play. Maybe Derek Taylor. I don't remember our whole team.
Man.
I don't even remember our whole team.
We had a good team. Ryan and them? You said
he's a year after me. Ryan is the next year.
Okay.
And Eton would have been my year, but I know he didn't play.
Okay.
Renzi might have played. Renzi Stone. I think Renzi played. But we had a good team. We definitely had a good team, but it was a great game. It came right down to the wire. It was one of the more entertaining games from what people said in Oklahoma, because a lot of times I guess Texas used to just come in and kind of had a way. But we was able to hold one, bring one to the home team one time.
Yeah, that's kind of like what me and Willie did. I mean, not just me and Willie, but Oklahoma and the Oil Bowl.
It's all right, bro. You older, you can pop now, bro. It's all right.
But we successful against Texas. So it was good. No, we had Justin Fuente at quarterback, and Kelly Gregg, and man, we had some dude, Benny Butler, Corey Ivy.
Y'all was ready.
We was ready, man.
Yeah.
It's
good. Steven Alexander, is he older than y'all?
He's a year older.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
he's a year older. Yeah. Tell me about your transition from high school to college.
The biggest adjustment for me, and when I got there, is that I just wasn't strong enough. When I got there early. I went June. I got there early, made sure I got there right when we got out of school. I was there the entire summer. I put on about probably 10 pounds, but I probably was 150 when we I was in high school. I was small.
Yeah.
So I was only probably about 160, maybe 170.
Yeah.
But so I had some success, and I played a lot. Had I prepared in the weight room and got in the weight room, it would have allowed me to be, I would have started.
Okay.
I definitely would have started, because I started some games even being where I was, because I could play and I could be out there, but it was just some things I just couldn't do because I just wasn't physically strong enough. And you know how it is.
I learned that. We played Nebraska my first game.
Them boys is
man.
It's something different.
Yeah,
it's definitely different. And then some of the guys, when I was you talk about being in the 12, it was Jock Vaughn was in the league. Jock Vaughn was there.
Yeah.
Chauncey Billups was there. Yep. Chauncey was like 220.
God,
I can't do nothing with this. I can't do nothing. Tyronn Lue. So it was a guards league. So I definitely had some struggles early just because I wasn't strong enough. But I also had enough success where I knew my motivation was, I knew once I got stronger, I would be okay. Not that I didn't know what I was gonna be, but I knew, all right, I can be out here.
Yeah.
I just gotta get enough bulk. I gotta get a little weight in my pants first before I can really do what I want to do.
Yeah. That's kind of the same.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Even though y'all was strong, it was just like it's a different type of strong.
They strong as they're strong as you are, or stronger. Yeah.
And he's 22 years old. They older. So that's just how it goes.
But that's a kind of not to toot our own horn, but we were good enough athletes to even get out there and play with the big boys. But you said we got knocked around, but as soon as we got in that weight room, we took our licks. Let's talk about Eddie Sutton a little bit. Tell me how he was to you. I mean, was he like a player's coach, or how was he? I just saw him. He just seemed like a straightforward, just stoic dude. Just kind of.
He was an older dude then.
Yeah.
So he was old school. So, he was a great coach.
Yeah.
I tell people, I don't know. Whoever the best player, nobody liked him.
Okay.
He just wasn't likable.
Yeah, he wasn't no player's coach.
No, he wasn't a player's coach. But he was a great teacher. And he taught, it was always, he would, we'd be in practice, he would stop every time. We never get to it was always a teaching moment. If you messed up, we stop right now.
Yeah.
We fix it. It's never, oh, we gonna let them play and then we gonna come back. No, we ain't.
We
stopping right now.
Right there.
So every 15 seconds, it's practice to stop. You know what I'm saying?
Can't you sweat? You
can't
get a
man,
sweat.
yeah, you can't get a good one. And then it would be, you were gonna be in there 3.5 hours.
Dang.
We knew that. 3.5 hours every day. And once you get used to it, you kind of know because there was a clock in there, and so you just start clock watch.
Yeah.
Then he realized we was all clock watch. He had him hit that clock.
Yeah.
So we don't know what time it is. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Man, but nah, he was a great coach. But like he was one of those coaches that you appreciate. He doesn't show you the gratitude he has for you until you're done. Once you're done, our relationship changed completely.
Yeah.
And that's what every player says. Like, once you're done, it's always that father. It's never enough until he's done. And then once that last game, you come back the next day, man, he's a complete different person. Yeah. And our relationship, and I think everybody with him, your relationship is kind of rocky because you don't see him much. He don't say much to you.
Right.
You get in trouble, you got to go holler at him. If it's to let you have it like a father figure, he gonna let you have it, he gonna run, you gonna get in trouble. It was all that, but it wasn't. He was completely opposite of Coach Daniels with how he could make you feel the same, but he didn't curse.
No, okay.
He never cursed. Very seldom. Like, he would have to be super mad.
Right.
Like, and if he cursed, it wouldn't be never him. It's never that.
Yeah.
Like, it's never none of that.
Okay.
None of those words. Like, he might say it to the ref. Like, every now and again, he'll like, "Ooh, golly."
Get him, coach.
Yeah. But and they never say anything. It was crazy. I'm like, man, he called that dude. You know what he just called that dude?
Right.
Whoa. Like, but they just had so much respect for him, and he was the king of that town. Like, that was his city, his town. Like, he walked on water because he played there.
Yeah.
He played for Coach Iba, and he brought Oklahoma State basketball back to relevance. So, there was nothing he could do wrong. It didn't matter if he was dead wrong. It wasn't going to matter. Nobody was going to take your side in that town. Nobody. You couldn't say anything. You couldn't talk to nobody about he was just king. Yeah. One thing he did, he taught you the game. And he taught you how to be a man at the end of the day, and that's what you go for. You go in, we young boys trying to become men, and he made sure that we became that.
Yeah. Some of the notable players you played with, of course, Desmond Mason, Gottlieb, and Montanati, and Terrence Crawford. Name some other ones that you bought. Was Janzen, Frederick Janzen, was he with you?
Janzen is with me.
Yeah.
Janzen, Keontae Roberts.
That's right,
Adrian
Keontae.
Peterson.
Yeah, AP.
AP was probably he was probably the best while I was there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he tore his ACL in Chicago. He was actually going to be a first-round pick in the last play of the camp. He tore his ACL. Like, crazy. Like, just unbelievable. So he was probably the best that I played with. We had like Glennon Alexander came. He transferred in with us. We had a lot of good players. Like, the thing is, when you talk to Coach, he would act like he didn't have any players. But everybody was like a top 50 player. It was like, oh, okay, you ain't got no McDonald's, so we just whack. You know what I'm saying? Okay, like, they wasn't gonna play for you no way. Like, they leaving, bro. Like, they come here with you, they ain't staying here anyway.
Man.
But it was always one of those deals where he was just like, we can get better play, So, but no, I was surrounded by some great players.
You stay in contact with a lot of those guys?
Oh yeah. I talked to Brian 2 days ago. I was talking about Naughty 2 days ago. Keontae, a lot of them. We got a group chat. We still talk. So I kind of know where all my teammates, all those guys are.
I know Gottlieb is doing coaching and everything, but did you kept up with him as well?
Yeah, he's actually in there. He'll come on there. He'll say something in there. He'll chime in. He busy because he got 2 jobs. He still has his radio gig. Yeah, and he's coaching. So anytime you doing that, he's busy. But I still hear from him. When my mother passed, he hit me. Make sure checked in. He was trying to come see me, but the schedule wouldn't permit. But all those guys, man. Because I think, as you know, like, bro, you get down there, some rough times down there, and you just get that bond where You know, it's almost like, with us, I don't know, playing for Coach Simmons, like for us, it wasn't like we were playing for Coach. It was like we was playing more for each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the bond you have because, man, everybody in there, boy, some sad stories in there. You don't know what because you don't know what to do.
Right.
You know, everybody is just at that like, man, I can't do nothing right. I don't know what. You know, you lose a couple games, boy, it's like the world is ending.
Right.
You know, so it's just one of those bonds that you create. And unfortunately for me and my teammates, that it's one that's just carried on, and we've kept up with each other since we all left.
Name, image, and likeness. Okay, NIL. What are your thoughts on pros and cons on the NIL? I mean,
love it.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. I mean, it's all pros for me. The only there's only one con that I have, and it's not really for me. It's like I want those young fellas. You can't be making the money they're gonna be making, and when you leave, you broke. Because when you see them now, they all got ice.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying don't do that.
Right.
But I do think that should be either they need to take a financial literacy class, or some needs to automatically go into some where you don't get it all. You don't give them 30% right now. You get the other when you get out or whatever.
Yeah.
But with the portal, you leaving, so you'll be giving their money all the time. But it's just like, man, you work so hard, like us not getting nothing. Now you getting 100, and you ain't gonna have when you leave.
Yeah.
You know, some
like where they go.
They're making the money to where they don't have to work now when they leave.
Yeah.
They can set themselves up for a long time.
Yeah.
And now you don't even have to make it to they don't have to go pro anymore.
Right.
Some of them are making enough money and they're not leaving. I mean, I would tell any kid, hey man, unless you're in the lottery for a basketball player, you can get $2 million in college.
Yeah.
Enjoy all that. Because
it.
once you leave there, as you know, boy, you getting that pro. Boy, ain't no games played.
No.
Ain't no games. So you gonna be a young man, you getting money. And I think they need to help them do something with the money to make sure that they're able to take care of themselves once they leave there. Because as you know, boy, it goes fast.
Yeah.
And that money goes even faster. And at the rate that they like and what they like, when you walk around and you see them cars going across campus now, that's costing. So it's just like, man, I hope young fella understands that, hey, it's easy to say you're going to get it back and get it back. That's what we all say. But as you know, that runs out.
Make it mandatory where they have to put it back and where they're set. Or at least it'll have a good foundation.
Yeah, a foundation
coming out, and then have that money working for them. But when they're getting out, but and some of them, they have to realize if you get hurt, that NIL is drying up because you got to be performing for the college, and if you're not performing, it's that Mustang is going back to the lot.
Most definitely.
Most definitely. And I think the portal is kind of messing everything. It's good, but it's not. But what do you think about the portal? I mean,
I'm like you. Yeah. I thought it was good at first because I'm like, man, you shouldn't hold a kid hostage. If you don't want to be there, let them go.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see a kid go to 4 different schools in 4 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And and of course, most of the decisions they're making is for financial reasons. That they're gonna get more money, or they get hurt and the school ain't gonna pay them enough. Yeah. So now they want to raise. They like, nah, you didn't do nothing. So now it's what I'm gone.
I'm transferring. Yeah.
So now you're gonna see guys. Well, for basketball, you guys, you have to stay 3 years anyway. Yeah. But for basketball, they were complaining about the one and done. Well, now, they going to stay in school longer, but they just might be at 4 different schools in 4 years. And I don't know if that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
I think when in doing that, part of the college experience is meeting people, getting out, knowing people, the alumni base.
Yeah.
Where when I leave here, when this money run out, I might need you.
Yeah.
When you go to 4 schools in 4 years, I don't know if you get that experience.
Right.
And you probably won't get that experience. And that's something that also is a way to success, is that because of the people you meet, your peers.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the next presidents of the banking companies, your lawyers, your attorney, whatever.
Right.
Those are the next ones. And, you know, if you don't put yourself in those positions or you're not in those positions because you're always moving, then you're going to miss that. And I think that's another huge thing that you can miss out on where, you know, that creates success for you as well besides just getting the lump sum of money.
Because I know you, I mean, just like you said, I think you and I both could, one phone call and we can get to a president of a bank or a CEO of a company.
I can talk to somebody for sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah, within a few hours. I do think I think they should bring back the rule of if you transfer, you have to sit out and you can't play. So if you decide to transfer, that's something to think about before you transfer. And
I say give them one free one.
One free. But then
if you do it again, we got it. There has to be something.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, everybody's gonna have a different team every year.
Yeah.
It's just not even as a fan, you don't know them.
Right.
You know, that's what creates the fan base is that they feel like they know you.
Yeah, who's gonna be the quarterback
and
this year?
If you changing every now, then the fans they're not able to. They don't want to get their money because they don't know what they're giving their money to.
Yeah.
So you know that's the thing is that I'm like you. Maybe I think maybe one free one. And then, but there has to be some kind of consequence. You can't just. Yeah. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. Is just let them do as they please whenever they want to.
Back when you played, how many? And I don't know if you know the number. You probably know. Do you know your record against OU?
5-4.
5-4. Okay. Now that's something that's gonna be missed. The Bedlam games. I hope they work it out in the future where we can still play.
Well, you know, basketball they actually played.
They still
They played. Just played at the Myriad. Paycom.
Okay.
They played at the Paycom this year. So they did actually play. It didn't work out for the home team. Unfortunately, they smacked us up a little bit. So
they got a good squad this year.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. They did. So I like to see that, but you know, I'm not gonna lie. You know, this is a football. This is a state still. I mean, although basketball is getting closer, it's coming. It's still this is a football state, and it's been the foundation for football. So. I mean, of course, I want Bedlam back. I'm sure you do. I mean, even if they don't play, I like to see. I heard Coach Gunny talking about he'd like to just stud up with them in the spring.
Yeah,
I think that would be exciting just to see something. I think, as you know, spring football, y'all playing the same people, beating up on each other. That gets tiring.
Yeah.
So to see a new face and then you can see them boys, I think it get live out there real quick. You know what I'm saying? So I would like to see something like that. Yeah. I mean, why not be a non-con game? It's good for both. Every other year you get a home game versus that school.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's great for the state, great for both universities. We got to get our football team back on track.
Man,
we got to, last year, man, a huge hiccup.
What the hell happened?
Yeah, I don't know. Man, I didn't see that coming.
Man.
And, you know, you know, when you talk about NIL, Sean, that's what it is now. You know, you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Like, because you're just taking other people's players. When you taking other people's players, listen, if there's only a couple reasons he's leaving. And you know that.
Yeah.
Either you paying him more or they didn't want him in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, when you get new guys and, you know, once I'm done with you, if I got a kid and you want him, and if I don't like him, I'll let you have him. I ain't gonna say nothing. You taking one of my problems. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? And you put too many of those guys together, and and now when you talking about playing for money, I don't know if they playing for the love. It becomes a business, which I'm not saying it shouldn't be, because you should. I mean, that's your body. It is a business. It is a brand. But when you play, till you get to that, you gotta. It's a certain thing in a certain way. You gotta carry yourself and how you do it to be successful. And the more successful you are, of course, the more perks you get.
So talking about your teammates at O State, while you were there, okay, I'm gonna give out a characteristic, and I want you to, the first teammate that comes to mind when I say this word or this little phrase, okay? Tell me who was always late.
Desmond.
D-Mace was always late.
Always late. That man ain't got no track of time, bro.
Man, really?
That man always late. D-Mace by far.
Okay. Who was the ladies' man?
I ain't gonna do that to him. I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that, nah, bro. I ain't gonna do that. I can't do that one, man. I don't know what he be telling. I don't know what his story what he be saying. So I'm gonna leave that alone.
Was he a guard? Was he?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Who was the basketball nerd? Like, who's gonna be the future coach? Like,
it was Doug. It was Doug.
Who could jump out the gym?
Mace.
Yeah. Okay. I remember playing when y'all used to come to the playing not intramural, but come to the Colvin and just play pickup ball. I was like, dude, yeah, just watching the dude fly, just like in my face. Like, seeing that dude play, it was crazy. Who was strong as a bull?
D Mace was probably one of the strongest that I also played with. Now, it was one of my freshman year, Big Maurice Robinson.
Oh, yeah.
He was he looked like he could get on that D line too.
Yeah.
So he probably but D Mace was super strong.
Yeah.
He was super strong as well. Keontae was strong.
Yeah.
It was a few of them, but those three right there, those are the ones. Well, actually, Doug was the strongest on our team.
Was he?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Doug was the strongest on our team. So actually, I say Doug.
Okay. Who was the spark plug that made y'all go?
I can't. Okay, I can't use me. So
you can
Mace,
if you
Mace because he'll make a crazy play. Like he might catch something so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like he might catch one off the rim. You might throw one to him from half court and he catch it. So he would be the dude that definitely would change the momentum of any game at any time.
Yeah. I was gonna say pure, one of the purest shooters. I would say you during your time.
Yeah.
And what was I read? I don't even think I read it at the beginning of the. You were listed at OSU on OSU's greatest guards, and they noted that you're one of the OSU's purest shooters. And so I'm going ahead and answer that for you.
Say that,
huh?
Let them boys say that, man.
Yeah. They talked about you, man. Yeah.
They didn't tell me that while I was there. It's amazing how they remember you when you gone, bro.
Yeah. You were listed as one of the greatest guards. Supervision, drop the dimes.
Oh, it was Doug. Doug for sure.
Yeah. Who was the court clown? Not the class clown, but who was the court clown?
Marlon Dorsey. Mississippi.
Oh, man. I remember
Marlon
him,
was crazy.
man.
Marlon was hilarious.
I forgot about him, man.
Marlon was crazy.
I forgot about him.
He was hilarious from Mississippi.
Yeah.
That was my guy.
Dude, that dude was funny. He was funny.
Too.
Who was loud as hell?
Him. He was both. That's why he was up there. He was loud. Country.
Yeah, he was, man.
Country. He's from a small town in Mississippi. I forgot where he was from in Mississippi.
Man, that's
small
funny.
Town.
I remember him, dude. Who talked too much?
Doug.
Yeah. During the games, or just kind of just in practice, or just
period.
Just period.
Just period. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It worked for him though. I should have been. If I'd have known
you
could do that, if
I'd
have known that's what you get out of that, I'd have been talking a whole lot more. I promise you.
Yeah, he used talking. He used it for greatness.
Yes.
Was he working for ESPN and for a while?
He's at Fox now. He started ESPN, went to CBS, and now he's at Fox.
Yeah. Last one about college. How did playing collegiate basketball affect you? How has it impacted your life?
It taught me how to deal with adversity, because that was one of the first times where I wasn't out there where I could just dominate it. It went up, bam, turn it on or whatever. So it also made me learn how to play a role. It taught me, just the competitive nature of it. But the biggest thing, the relationships was the biggest thing for me, is that not only the people that I met, my teammates, but the people across that whole campus, and just building relationships with people. And as we get older, when you walk across there, you see some of those people, and it's those bonds that you have. And as you say, sometimes it's just a phone call away when you need a favor, that you can pick up that phone and make a call to get, maybe if you need something. So that's probably the biggest thing, is just the relationships in general, of just, and not, like I said, not just only my teammates, but just the environment that was. Because I think Stillwater was different in a way, because it is a small town. Once you take all the students out, and it is about maybe pretty much the athletes. So the athletes kind of create the campus. So when football is good, of course, it's always, we start the year where it's already going. Then of course basketball season was coming. You know what I'm saying? So it just created an environment where it was just always excitement. And as you know, boy, we had a lot of good times in that place.
Yeah, definitely. So now after you graduated, did you had some chances to play overseas, and was it France? And
I went to France, Russia.
Yeah.
Played in South America, Mexico, Uruguay, Brazil, Poland.
Dang, how was it like in Poland?
Cold. Cold.
My first guess.
Super cold.
Yeah. And with Russia too?
Russia, you know, the funny part is about Russia is that I actually, when I was there, I lived in the southern part of Russia.
Okay.
So it was hot.
Okay.
So it was much warmer in climate. So we were about 2 hours from Moscow, 2-hour flight. So we may have, in our city, it might be, in the wintertime, it might be 50.
Okay.
Well, we fly to Moscow, man, it's
negative.
Yeah, it's 12.
Yeah.
8 inches of snow.
Man,
you know
just 2 hours away. 2-hour flight.
Just 2 hour flight. You know, people got chains on, you know, they put chains on that tire.
Okay.
They gotta put chains on the tire. So yeah, it was just a whole different, just 2 hours away. So my city, luckily, it was way better just because we were on that southern part. So I didn't have to deal with the cold all the time.
Okay.
We just had to deal with it if we were traveling out the country to go somewhere and play, or if we had to go to the other side of Russia. We would hit Moscow. That would be like the main terminal. Then you fly to that other city. Or whatever.
But Poland was cold.
Poland was cold too. But yeah, Poland was cold because that's where I was at.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like Russia where I could be. Yeah, it was just it was different. I don't know if it's as cold as Russia. It was about the same though.
Okay.
I can tell you that. I didn't want to be outside too often, but I can tell you that, Jack.
How did it go for you? Just kind of how many years did you actually play in all those?
8.
8 years?
8 total out of that. Man, it was just an experience because, you know, if it's not for basketball, I'm never going to those places.
Right now.
I would have never thought to go to those places. I mean, you know, maybe France because, you know, we know just what popular in style or whatever, what you have Paris. But Russia was, that was my first year. That was my first gig, and I tore my ACL there. That was one of my favorite countries because it was a great country because they had just got out of the dictatorship, so it was a democracy, and it only been like 8 years, so they was still like, boy, they was having a good time.
Yeah,
they was happy to be able to walk the streets. They was happy to be able to just be free. Yeah. So I had a great time there. But Paris, France was probably. Russia was my favorite, but Paris was probably. I mean, France was the best. Yeah. Because it was just so much to do once you go to Paris. And then my city I was about 2 hours driving, but I lived in a place called Chalon in Champagne. So it was like the wine vineyard of the whole world. So everything, all the wines were created right there. So the whole town, when you ride down the street, you just see all these different vineyards and things like that. So that was pretty cool to see. But you know, I didn't have any really bad experiences there. Fortunately for me, because I know some dudes that had some really horrific stories. Wow. And I was fortunate enough to where I was always in good situations. I had people put me in the right spots and make sure that I would be safe and be good. Yeah. Man, I would tell anybody. I mean, now it's, you know, now people won't have that. Because you're getting paid. Now, if I was getting paid NIL, I probably would have never went overseas. You know what I'm saying? Because I had money. I just play here. Right. And the reason I did it was because, of course, I'd already had a baby. So I had to make the most money as possible. So it was like, you know, I knew of it because my brother-in-law and my sister had went overseas. So I was like, all right, well, if I don't make it, I'm going to go overseas. You know what I'm saying? So it was never really a thing where it was just like I couldn't do it. It was like, all right, I know I can do that. So it was a time, like I say, man, I had the time of my life, and I know those experiences I never would have had if it wasn't for basketball.
Yeah. Well, tell me about the Globetrotters. What was going on with that? Like, man. I saw you on the list of the all-time Globetrotters. Yeah. And I remember you mentioned it to me back in the day.
That was actually the best job I ever had.
Was it?
Oh man, it was lovely. I didn't appreciate it because that was my actual, right when I got out of college, that was my first gig. Okay. And it was it was A1 everything. Like if we went to an NBA city, we stayed where the NBA players stayed, the NBA teams.
Oh, it was like that?
First class. Like, oh man, it was first class everything. At that time, I was so into, I wanted to play. It was still like, it was the Globetrotters though. It was like, but there was a time like throughout the game, even in the show, there's a time where you play serious.
Yeah.
So, but it's only like a few minutes of intervals, very small.
Yeah.
Where they let you play serious.
Yeah.
The rest is the show.
The joke. Yeah.
But people don't realize, and I tell people that, like the dude, like the dudes that got the mic, man, they was making like 400,000, bro. Like,
wow.
Yeah, like man,
they were funding it like no.
Man, the Globetrotters had they had the highest payroll in the country other than the NBA at that time when I came out, because it's like 3 different teams.
Okay.
So you might have one out here on the west, one on the east, but each dude with the mic, they're making 400. You got dudes that's in the show, everybody's getting, man, everybody got a nice contract. There's not one person out there that's not getting paid good.
Okay, yeah.
Like, it's not, I mean, you might have a dude making 100, but he don't do what everybody else do. The main dude is, of course, the dude on the mic. So, of course, he gets the most. But it was funny because the guy who bought it at that time was named Manny Jackson. The Globetrotters had went bankrupt.
Oh, okay.
He was a businessman from Arizona. I don't know. I think he was maybe real estate or something. And he played for the Globetrotters.
Okay.
He was young, and he bought them. And within a year, man, I think in his first year he had made I think he made $50 million off the Globetrotters. He brought it back immediately.
Yeah.
So when I got there, it was like the 4th or 5th. He had owned it for a while, so money was not an issue.
Yeah, had it rolling.
They was rolling in money. So that's probably the biggest mistake I made was leaving that.
Okay.
When I got old, I was like, I should have just did that.
Yeah.
I mean, because my knees wouldn't be aching and popping like they are.
Yeah.
Didn't have to play hard, and you would just the money was unbelievable. And like I said, they treated you A1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that was an experience.
How long did you roll with him?
It was about 5 months.
5 months. Okay.
5 months. I went like half a year through him with him. But we did play the college team. So I was on the first team of the Globetrotters that played colleges.
Okay.
So we actually did play some real games too.
Yeah.
But even when we were practicing for them real games, we would have to take time out of practice. So after it's done, hey, you got to learn how to do all this. So you have to learn how to do the show. So you know what I'm saying? And that was the part where I really didn't like it then, because I was just so young. I wanted to be serious.
You want
to
play?
I want to really play. But nah, if I could do all that again, that would have been the job I would have just kept.
Man, that's funny. But I never knew that they took care of the players like that. I thought they, just 'cause it's kind of good attraction.
Yes,
but just not the money that you saying they made.
Yeah, they was. Hey, there's some guys on there. Yeah. Anybody that's talking on that mic, well, he got a lavish life. Trust me. Okay. Trust me. So when you see that guy, if you see him, take the grandkids to come ask him for some money. He got it.
Yeah, he got it. He got it. Yeah, I had the mic with the Globetrotters.
Yeah, hey, boy. If anybody know, they gonna know. Oh, boy, they got it.
Yeah. So tell me about grind prep just a little bit.
It's not for everybody. Okay. It created a lot of chaos, but it wasn't a knock at anybody. It was just somebody that had a vision, and he wanted to bring kids, and they come on, they do their schoolwork. It's a basketball-oriented school. It's not anything different from any other prep school. Okay. It's just predominantly basketball based. Yeah. So they don't have to spend 6 hours in a classroom. They don't have any electives. Yeah. But they still have. They go online and they have to see their teachers, and they have to do everything just like anyone else. I don't know why they really received all the flack, or we received the flack. Let me say.
Well, now what's some of the flack? Because
people just had a lot of negative to say about it before they even knew what was going on. Okay. And and that's just how that's life. That's people are gonna talk. It's a difference from talking and hoping somebody fails. And I think now, although I think people thought that it was gonna fold and it wasn't gonna be successful, well, I mean, on the girls' side, they were top 20 in the country for a lot of the season. On the boys' side, last year we finished second in our league, and then we finished second in the conference tournament. So it's been a success for most. And like as I said, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And for me, I feel like the only people that are threatened are the coaches that don't want to work. I mean, if you don't want to work your kids out in the summertime and open your gym, then they shouldn't be there anyway.
Right.
Because you're not the best for them anyway. Now you got to do your job. You got to get up and work. So, maybe you feel threatened.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm coming out going to steal your kid.
Okay.
Now, if your kid called me, I'm going to answer the phone.
Right.
But I'm not going to call your kid. I'm not trying to steal your players.
Right.
It's not that. And I think everybody thought, they just going to start stealing everybody's players. Nah, it's not about stealing your players. This is only going to be for the ones who want to be here because everybody can't take it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that because it's not easy either because it's a lot of demands over there when it's just basketball. Because now we got to find out if you really do love this like you say. You know what I'm saying? You got to love it to be over here because we're going to be in here and this is the things that you got to do to be successful.
And you have a lot of you have some coaches there that have the experience, the knowledge, the know-how, the ins and outs of college, getting into college and stuff like that, who have coached in college, played in college, pros, So I mean, I hear little things here and there, but there's not a lot of heavy things that have been said. That I've heard. So
I mean the thing is, and it's like anything else, Sean. If you got good kids, it's not gonna be no problem.
Right.
You got no bad kids over there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not any bad kids, and kids for the majority part, they're just like any other kid in high school. You know there are some problems, but it ain't major problems. It ain't that whether you're at Santa Fe or John Marshall, you got the same problem.
Same problem.
I mean, it's gonna be the same thing. It's gonna be more now that they actually see how it is and how it can be beneficial for youngsters, for kids, young girls or boys. I think more are going to try. I mean, there's one in Tulsa now.
Okay.
South Central Prep, where they've started and created a program where they played this year.
Okay.
So you're already seeing people start to do the same thing. Like I said, it's not for everybody, and that's the thing. But high school ain't for everybody either.
Right.
I mean,
right. You're right. I know you mentioned your daughter earlier. So how many children you have? How they doing?
3.
Oh, 3. Okay.
I have a 27-year-old.
Now that's
Jocelyn.
Yes.
No, 28. 28.
Yeah, she's about the same age as mine.
Yeah. 28. She'll be 29 this year. She lives in D.C.
Okay.
So she's working.
Now she graduated from OU? Or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she graduated from OU. They got my dollars, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Extremely smart.
Doing her thing. Yeah.
Always smart.
Yeah,
been smarter than me. Definitely. It had to be her mama.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. I wouldn't tell her
like
mama
me.
that. But hey, the brain she has, it definitely wasn't me. But she's doing her thing. She's been highly successful in what she does. Like I said, she travels across the world just to do her business. My son, he just graduated. He's autistic. My number one fan.
Okay.
He's my number one fan.
Okay.
He loves his pops. DJ, he just graduated from Edmond Santa Fe. And then I have a baby girl who's 8. That's going to be my other 2. They would no problem. This last one,
You gonna see?
boy, I'm going to feel it.
Okay.
I'm going to feel this one, boy.
Yeah.
She's the one.
Okay.
Boy, she's the one. She's running everything. She tells, talk. Oh, man.
And how old is she?
She's 8.
8. Okay.
Yeah, she'll be 8. So,
okay.
Man, that one is going to be the one I'm already gray. I'm going to have it all.
Yeah, you about to be.
I mean, she going to run me.
We getting there, man.
Yeah. So,
man, one last question. I know more than anybody in basketball games, there's momentum. There are momentum shifts in life, and just wanted to ask you, like, what was one momentum shift in your life that affected you negatively or positively?
And we spoke about one early when we lost.
Yeah.
But that was the first really momentum because, I mean, I had some adversity in basketball, but I mean, I had been really successful and I won a lot. So I had never really, to lose in that championship game. Like I said, it was the first time that one that really just was gut-wrenching for me.
Because that was high level for us at that time. That was the
biggest stage you could be on. And, and I always wanted to be a great player. And, it's always been for great players, you have to win.
Yeah.
So that was the first one that really, after when we lost that game, that was my motivation was to that next year to make sure that feeling didn't happen, but it created a momentum into my summer because I immediately started working. And everything was about, really it was for, although I was going to camp, I was going to all these camps, and I had a big summer, but everything was like, bro, that feeling, when I get back there, I'm going to do this. And that momentum just kind of carried in to my summer, and I had a great summer. I went to ABCD camp with the likes of Kobe, Tim Thomas, Rip Hamilton, Jermaine O'Neal. I mean, there was several pros that was there. A couple came out of high school, and I ended up being like number 22, I believe, coming out of there. So that really started a momentum of my recruiting as well, where it sparked it to where it just got national. And because most of the schools that had recruited me, it was a lot regional. So it was the Kansas State, you know, all around here. But once I went there, that's when the UConns and UCLA, like I started getting people from all over the country and started recruiting me for that. And then like the second momentum shift, probably negative. The first time was after when I tore my ACL. And that was later, you know, I was older. Well, I was 22. I was young, but because at that time, it took me a long time to actually get back in the game. Like, because, you know, in 2000, ACLs were common, but it isn't like now. Now, the trip, boy, they know how to get you back in 6 months. Well, for me, it was like, oh, okay, it's going to be 9 to 12. And then it took another year for people to be like, oh, okay, is he healthy? So I had to deal with that. And then I finally was able to get another opportunity. And once I got my opportunity, of course, I was ready. So it just kind of sparked my career again. But those two things were probably just the true, where I can remember, like momentum, where it stopped, where it was positive for me, where it created something positive, where negative created a positive for me. Is that loss. And then, you know, going down in Russia, tearing my ACL, playing on the team. We was in the Pro World. We were playing really well. We were undefeated. We were actually playing CSKA, the biggest team in Europe. Like at that time, Karolinko had just left on that team, and so they were huge, and it derailed my career for a little bit. But as I said, it was the bounce back of getting back. It took so long just because people didn't want to take a chance on me, just because, you know, at that time, it was a big deal. Like now it's not. So those were probably the two that just come right off the bat that I think of, that momentum shift you were talking about.
I appreciate you stopping by, man, and taking some time out, walk down memory lane.
Man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
But, you know, you one of Oklahoma's icons and, you know, basketball and sports. You still in the sports world and doing great things for Oklahoma basketball.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you. I always love, as you know, bro.